Here's how I make a mascot. First thing I do when I make a mascot is research. I tend to use Pinterest as I find it easy to navigate and there's always something for what you're looking for. Let's say for example we're looking to create a dragon mascot. I'd usually just go into the search bar and type in dragon logo or something for example. And we can find a few ideas for what we're looking for, a few shapes. I'm usually looking for shapes and sort of references. So we're looking at how the head's structured and the wings and the tail and how they've all made that flow together. And here's one with a bit of shaded on it. So just go over and create a board, type in dragon, whatever you want to call it. I can't type apparently. Yeah, there we go, dragon mascot. So create that, then from that you get some suggested ideas. So this is quite a cool one, the scales and how they made that. So we just stick that in there, and we just keep going, rinse and repeat, till we found a few nice ideas. So here's a board I made earlier. I tend to use this one when I make my own dragon mascots, but I'm just showing you for an example. But as you can see here, we've got a few generic dragon logos, quite basic flat 2D images. Then we've also got mascots incorporated, so you can see how there's a lot more detail, perspective in the images, shade and colour. But I use all of these for reference. Even these ones are good for text. See how they put the text insertion, but it's all in the same place. So you get quite an idea of where it fits into the dragon shape. But I've also got a bit of concept art in here, just some art, concept art. But basically what I'm looking for is ways people approach drawing a dragon. So you're not just looking through one path of the mascot logo, you can look to other pieces of art and influence to help you create an image of what you want. We've also got some different pieces of art here, looking at like a more Chinese dragon, and look how they used the colour, it's quite 80s. But also shading as well, but then that helps when you look at something like this and how you can combine these two ideas to create more of an image of what you had in mind. Right, so now we're going to start drawing. So now over on Sketchbook Pro, we've got a Komodo dragon looking nice and friendly. So now we're just going to look at the shapes in the head. So around here you can sort of see where the head's going, where it meets the neck, how it drops down here. The snout, probably be a bit more boxed off for a dragon from the reference images I've looked at. The eye sort of in here, stylise that a bit more, and drawing the jawline. I'll probably come up a bit around here. So we've got that. But so you can see how we're building this foundation for the logo. Probably want to add in another line here to get that torque in the neck, then work up the snout, little eye pocket, and just work around the top of the head. So now we've got a basic shape we can work with and start dressing up and making it look more like a dragon really. So we probably want to start by adding some spikes to the head, obviously scales, whatever you want to call them. So I'm just working around this outline I've created, which we can rub out as we go, but it helps give us a bit of perspective when we start shading. So we're going to keep working that down there. I don't know, I don't really like that. So we can always go back, which is useful when you're doing it digitally. Some people prefer pen and paper, but I obviously prefer this because I just find it a lot easier. Saves a lot of time. So I'm just going to finish this off and we can cut to it. Okay guys, I've just gone ahead and touched up the sketch, thickened up the lines, added a bit more detail, sculpted it a bit more, added a little shield emblem and a little box for where the text is going to go. So the thought process throughout this is just trying to make it flow nice, have some nice shapes in there, a good perspective as well is key, like having your proportions correct and the eyes and nose and mouth all look reasonably good anatomy wise, then being able to shape it into some sort of lockup with the shield for this example in the little box, but there's always time to play around with it, so I'm just going to go ahead and colour it in, then I'll talk to you about shading. And boom, we've got the shading done. I stick a layer underneath it, then I almost used a line work with a stencil over the top, so it's a lot easier to colour in quicker. I used a lighter blue on the spikes and the snout and under the eyes, just to add a bit of depth to the piece and a bit more, make it a bit more 3D. I've also done it on the shield here with just spikes to give it a bit of a shadow and a bit more depth. I went ahead and coloured the box in, so when we go to Illustrator we can stick the text straight on. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Leave any questions in the comments and I'll be happy to answer them. I'll be releasing the next episode showing the vectorising process on Illustrator shortly.